And now, without further ado, let's dive into the first keynote session of the afternoon session. So, ladies and gentlemen, with the rise of many cutting-edge technologies like generative AI, businesses worldwide are experiencing great changes in how they interact, engage with their customers, leading to deeper connections as well as more impactful outcomes. And now, let's together delve into how technology empowers purpose-driven leadership in the realm of customer service. And I'd like to invite Mr. Phi Vu, Managing Director and Chief Strategy of SynergieGlobal. Please welcome.
Good afternoon, Saigon. Good afternoon, the big bosses of the industry. You are the big bosses, so thank you again. Before I get started with my session, I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you, MMA Vietnam, Rohit, Jessica, and the team to allow me to be here on this stage to share with you one of the industry-leading practices. But before we get started, I'd like to get your feedback about the song we just played. So please help raise your hand if you think the song is positive and hopeful. Okay, I see a couple. Show me some love. Come on, in the back room back there. All right, here we go. To be honest with you, I listened to the song. This one actually came out about 6 years ago. I loved it. Listen to the song, and you can see the lyrics. It's so hopeful. It's so positive. Think about it. Rewrite history. Make a legacy. That is what you are doing in the industry here in Vietnam. It is amazing. And look at the video clip. How many of you thought about the gentleman climbing up the side of the building? That is super coolly cool. But I forgot to tell you, it ain't real. It's fake. The gentleman was completely protected, completely cabled, and pulled up on the side of the building. Well, what I'm going to tell you today is hopeful, very positive, absolutely inspirational. It happened right here in our town of Saigon, and there's one thing that is different than this clip. What we do is real. So with that being said, I'm going to talk to you about customer service. Of course, I know that you either have a direct knowledge or indirect exposure of the challenges as well as the opportunity. So please help me mature that as well. And of course, I'm going to dive into how the industry has taken advantage of the technology, specifically generative AI, to do that job. So I'm going to tell you about the result that we achieved. And of course, we need to share some secrets as well. So I'm going to talk about the methodology, how to do so. And last but not least, it is just one use case, one application. I want you to take this and advance it and make it greater and better for our society. So let's go right in. So what I'm going to share with you, and as you may know, I am Vietnamese American. So what I'm sharing with you is the experience that I have exposure with in the US and also in Vietnam. The challenges here that I'm going to share with you happened at big enterprises in the US, and I'm talking about big Fortune 50, not 500, 50, the top biggest 50 companies in the US, all the way to the smaller startup company having similar problems. And even when I had a great chance and honor to work with a local private hospital chain, fairly big, right here in Saigon, we have the same challenge. So let me share with you the challenge that we have. So at this hospital, we have customer care, customer agent listening to the call. And this chain is about IVF, which is it's about fertility process that help folks, couple that have trouble making babies, to make baby. Isn't it beautiful? People who struggle with something, and we help them to do that. So what happened is that the customer calls in. Of course, those couple, they struggle. They cannot just show up to the hospital. They often call in and say, talk about the process, what they are, the pricing, the DNA, everything, every single details about that IVF process. Well, our customer agent, they've done a phenomenal job. They work days and nights. But the challenge is that the questions are random. It could be hundreds or even thousands of questions being asked. And our customer agent are not able to do a good job responding to all of them. So from the enterprise perspective, well, the customer, we are not able to respond promptly, fully, and of course, consistently to the customer. And what is the result? The customer are not happy with that service. To me, and please tell me if I'm wrong, you are the smart guys, the smart ladies in the house. To me, when I think about customer service, customer agent, they are our extension of the marketing team, the sales team. They are the one that close the loop and make a longer, bigger, and larger wins for us. Well, there got to be a better way, isn't it? In fact, there is. So what we did was we spent not too long of a time listen to all of the calls that happened over the past year. We're talking about thousands, tens of thousands of the calls. We're talking about hundreds of minutes that we listen, decipher, and we're able to pull out, extract key topics that was discussed during those calls. And based on that, we're able to circle back and share that knowledge with the big bosses, the executive team, which then in return be able to provide great training, very targeted training toward the specific top 10 questions that the customer are very wishing to know. They want to know those 10 topics. So now, instead of training our customer agent with hundreds of topics, now we target down to 10 or 20. And now with only 10 or 20, we can script those responses to make it fully, completely, and toward the directions that we want, the customer want to hear. Next, when the customer are able to receive good customer response to the questions, what do? They happy. They happy, and which means that they are able to spend more time, money toward our services. So that's what we did and achieved that result. And remember I shared with you the secret sauce? Here it is. Well, this is a very methodology that our team has come up. And by the way, I want to tell you one thing. I grew up in Saigon. I'm not a smart guy. I'm just fortunate to be surrounded by a smart group of people. And I am very fortunate to have a good team of people that help me put together. So what I'm sharing with you today is not my work. It is my teamwork, and I just have a great honor to share what they have done. So again, the methodology. Going back to here, the very first important step for us to do when it comes to this type of challenges or machine learning projects in general is to qualify whether this call is a good, successful call or it's a not so good, successful call. In machine learning, we call it labeling. It is very important. This is where we work with the customer and understand what it means and qualify it. Once we're done with it, we actually fairly achieve 80% of the hard work already. The next part is now we're going to transcribe the audio from audio into text. And that is done by many libraries out there. There's free version, very cheap, $0. Or if you want to make it faster and at real time, pay a little bit. And I'm talking about cents. And be able to get it real time. Very good quality. Once we're done with the transcription, now we're going to take the text, the blob of text, and use generative AI to pull out, extract the key points within each call. So in this scenario, we have a one-to-many relationship, meaning that we have one call, and each call could have 2 or 10 or 20 topics within each call. And imagine when we have hundreds of thousands of those calls, so which means that we have hundreds of thousands of those mappings. And the next step is that now we parse through another set of generative algos. Algos means algorithms, but we shorten it to make it faster. Another set, customized model, and we're able now parse through hundreds of thousands of those pairing and spit out the top 10, the top 20, the top 100, and ranking from the most important topic to the customer, to the least one. Once we finish that work, the hard job is done. Now we take the result, the findings, and present to the big bosses like you. And that's when you make a decision on what to do with those findings. It's fairly simple. It's very data-driven decision-making process that allows you as the executive to make that call. And by the way, the findings not only help you and us to satisfy the customer today, because the customer complain about it, but there's also hints, tips about what else do they want. Because we all know, on the calls, people said, oh, I wish you had this. I want you to have that. What's your thought? Well, back in the old day, we need to hire a team of those people listening to the call, and imagine you have hundreds of thousands of those calls, and we're talking about millions of those minutes you have to go through. It is impossible. But today, with the technology that we have, we are able to do it in a fraction of the time, and even a smaller fraction of the cost. Well, what I just shared to you up until this point is one use case. Remember I told you, I want you to take this use case, go to the moon, go back, and then go back to the moon again, and be creative, be innovative, because you have the background. You can do much greater than me. And I mean it from my heart, right? You know the industry. You know a lot more than I do, and you know your business. You are the creator of the great things for your business. So going back to the use case I shared with you, I already talked to you about the first use case. The second use case, remember I talked to you a little bit about the not so successful calls? Well, what does that mean? Those are the target market that we want to win their heart. Unfortunately, we didn't do a good job, and that's why they went away. But now we have that call. We know the top 5 or top 10 or top 20 that are very important to the customers. Very easy. We just benchmark that particular fail call toward the topics. Now we can go back and say, Mr. Nguyen, Mrs. Tran, I remember that you talked to me about 2 weeks ago, and I'd like to reiterate those points, which means that for the topic that we were not able to do a good job, we now can go back and talk to them and turn them around from a not so successful call to a successful customers. What about the next thing? We are getting sexier, by the way. Up until this point, what I share with you is offline analytics, which means that it's not happening during the call. All of this work are being done after hours, in the weekends, and present the findings to you. But we can make it real time. And what's the benefit? It is very beneficial to the business. Think about it. You are the experience in the industry. When you talk, and when we talk to the customer, I know 110% that you are so good to the point that many times the customer doesn't have to spell out every single thing that they want, but you already feel it. You already respond to 1 or 2 things and turn them into the win opportunity. With great all due respect to our customer agent, well, they are junior in their career. They don't have that feeling They don't have the DNA yet. Our technology can have that AI engine listening to the call at real time and be able to spit out the tips, like what I have today with the teleprompter. One topic, two topic, and allow them to speak about that topic, allowing them to be as good as you are. Well, we are here this year, 2024 MMA. One of the key topics that we have is societal impact. Think about it. I am very fortunate that I can speak okay, but there are so many people that are challenged with speaking ability. They stutter. Even folks that have ADHD, mental situation, that they may not be able to share what they want, to ask what they want. With this tool, we can help bridge that gap for them. Absolutely. Another thing, as I share with you, to me, customer service, customer care are just an extension of the sales team. This is a tool that could absolutely reset the performance of our sales team. As I share with you, I really mean it from my heart. I'm not a smart guy. I'm just very blessed to be here. And as a crowd here, I actually mentioned earlier, I am Vietnamese. And there's a word in Vietnamese called ông trời. And I love that word so much. And the reason is because we are blessed to be here. We are blessed, and you are blessed to be big bosses. Please do something right. And as I share with you, take this to the moon, come back, and take back to the moon again, and make it a societal impact. Thank you very much for your time. My name is Phi.
Thank you very much, Mr. Phi Vu. And I think we are very blessed to have a chance to listen to a very talented, yet very humble gentleman like you. Thank you.